2 weeks ago. We're on the subject of leadership, and we gave it a caption. The theme of the series of training had been understanding leadership. Understanding leadership. Now, the truth must be told. You see, when it comes to leadership, it's everything. Leadership is what? Everything. Now, I'll give you an example. If you see a family, a home that is falling apart, one of the things I know is highly lacking in that home is what? Leadership, amongst other things. When you see a country falling apart, leadership. When you see a school, a business collapsing, leadership. Simply because some people who ought to be responsible for certain decision making either had made wrong decision, or they don't know what to do, or they decided to do nothing. So leadership is everything. Everything rise and fall on leadership. And if that's the case, how about you as an individual? One of the criteria that will determine if you will eat success in life or not also hinge on leadership. That's the truth. I just said everything rise and fall on leadership. And that is why if you see any successful man who is doing well and who is making his world proud, his nation proud, his family proud, watch it. That individual has some outer or good sense of what? Leadership. And that is why today we are looking at the subject of self-what? Leadership. Self-leadership. So that as an individual, you can be so sure that in the nearest future, and the future could be a year from now, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 50, 100, okay, of years from now, that certainly you'll be able to hit your goal in life. You'll be able to attain your dreams and be able to achieve all your set goals. So self-leadership. And let me tell you the truth. I tell people in leadership training that self-leadership is the foundation for any form of leadership. We talked about public service, okay, whereby you are serving the interests of the populace. You will never lead well if you have failed at the level of self-what? Leadership. You cannot be a failure inside as an individual and be a public success. Hello? One of our speakers said that you cannot be a what? A private what? Failure and be a public what? Success. No, it is what you have that you will ooze out there to other people out there. Are we correct? Are we speaking the same language? Now, self-leadership is all about structuring your life. Self-leadership is all about what? Structuring your life. Some of us do not know that we ought to lead ourselves the same way you will have done if you have to lead a group of individuals. Some of us never knew that if you have been called maybe to head a department, a unit, you will come and begin to tell them, this is what we are going to achieve for this month, this is what we are going to achieve for this year, isn't it? You begin to put your foot on ground and tell them this is not allowed in this place, isn't it? You begin to make some bylaws, isn't it? Begin to make some rules and what? Regulations. Some of us never knew that it doesn't have to start at public leadership level. It's supposed to start at self-what? Leadership. The same way, you set goals for the group of people you are leading, maybe in church, at place of work, as a department, maybe a community, society. The same way, do you set goals for yourself at the level of self-leadership? The same way when you are elected as the president of a country, like Joe Biden just won United States election 2 days ago. Now, and is already talking about the vision that he has for what? The United States of what? America. Public service, right? Now the question is, at the level of self-leadership, some of us do not even know we supposed also to set vision for our life. Vision for our life. So self-leadership is very, very important, because once you fail at this level, you cannot be a public success. You can't beat it, because we know that you cannot give what you don't have. So if you have not been successful at leading yourself, how can you lead a group of what? People or individuals? Or what you have is what you will ooze out to these people. So let's quickly look at the ingredient for self-leadership. What are the ingredients? Ingredient for self-leadership. Now, by ingredient, I mean what are the critical things that we need to look at when it comes to self-what? Leadership. Some factors that enhance your self-what? Leadership for greatness. Number one is the force of vision. Everybody say vision. You know, every leader is said to be a visionary individual, isn't it? So at self-leadership level, you ought to set a vision. You ought to have a vision for your life. That's why when you come in, or if we look at political system, for instance, as an example, even before coming to power, they do what we call manifesto. Do you remember? when they are campaigning, what are they trying to share with you? Their what? Vision. When you elect me, when I come to office, these are the things I'm going to do for you. So at the level of self-leadership, which is you leading yourself, vision also is a very important ingredient. When you cannot carve out vision for your life, it will be difficult to carve out vision for a set or group of people that you are what? Leading. So now that we know vision is one of the great ingredients, one of the requirements for self-leadership, one of the big factor in self-leadership, let's quickly look at vision in a jiffy. Now, what is vision? You see, let's talk like a layman. That word vision is from the word visual. I know when you talk about visual, you talk about something that can be what? Seen, isn't it? So when you say carving a vision for your life, is you trying to see your future from today, trying to determine what the future holds for you from today, when you are not yet in that what? Future. And it's so powerful, the power of the mind. You see, anything you begin to picture in your mind that it is yours or that you want to become, if you keep at it, somehow natural forces are summoned together to push you, to enable you to get and become that particular thing you are envisioning. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not even talking about church or preaching or that's, see, even if any Dick and Harry, I'm telling you the truth, who is ready to pay the necessary sacrifice, because there's always a price to pay for anything that would definitely realize. So you can't talk about self-leadership and overlook the place of what? Vision. So as you are seated there now, the question is, what have you seen in the future? Where do you see yourself in next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years? So if that is not yet in place, then you're already missing out a great ingredient in the school of self-leadership. Vision. Ask your neighbor, do you have a vision? You see, some of us, we are looking inward now. And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about all this wishy thinking. No, this wishy thinking. You just sit down one day and say, oh, I wish I just have one house in Abuja now, and then, I'll just be running town, No, we're not talking wishy. We are talking about calculated, networked series of events, series of activities and tasks that you are going to undergo to achieve, to attain, or to arrive at a predestined destination. Are we together? So the question is this. If some of us don't understand this power of vision, let's say for instance, what do you study? What do you study? Mass communication. What do you study? Aquaculture. What do you study? Economics. What do you study, man? Banking and finance. Wow, beautiful. What do you study? Civil engineer. What do you study? Okay, you're still in school. It's all right. Now, we're talking about you first and foremost, looking at every aspect of your life and telling yourself, this is where I see myself in this respect in the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever duration of years you want to plan ahead. I'll give you an example. Imagine her as person in the banking and the finance sector sat down and look at career, which is an aspect of her life. There are many dimensions to our lives, isn't it? Now, and she tells herself, I envision owning my own financial what? Institution. Meaning that she wants to own what? A bank. That's the vision. She doesn't look like it now, but she's seeing a big picture ahead of what she wants to do. Guess what? If she put that at the back of her mind and she begin to learn the ropes around owning what? A financial what? Institution. She begin to make effort, making necessary connections and network with people and gather a lot of people who share the same opinion. That's how many banks started. All those guys that are called the CEO of the bank, they are not the only owner of that bank. Are you aware? Just that he has the largest what? Share. That's it. So before you know, they start moving around, look for people who share like passion with them, and at the end of the day, they form a team and then they float that institute. Imagine Cressida is talking about she in her career, she studied mass communication. We are talking vision means that she telling herself that, okay, I see myself soon owning a TV, an intercontinental what? TV station. That is a TV station that have global what? Relevance. Or running a media house, a publishing house, or a radio station. That's what we are talking about. Painting a big picture of your future. And then what that does to you is that you now have a focus. You know what you want out of life. Then you now begin now to walk towards it. So when a friend comes and say, let's go here, you look at where she's telling you to go, even though the place is good, but as long as the thing is not going to take you closer to what? To the big picture, you're telling her, I'm sorry, I won't be part of this. It gives you focus. Vision gives you focus. Some of us, the reason why we are everywhere, anybody come and drag, we are going, they drag is because you not yet know where you are going. There's no vision. When vision is in place, even what they call you for is good. But tell them that, I'm sorry, please, politely, you decline because you've looked at it critically. This is not going to take you closer to that big picture that we call the vision, but rather it's going to take you a bit what? Away. There's no need. And you will know when somebody will come another day and talk about some certain things with you, and you analyze and you realize that this is going to take you a far more closer to that future that you have pictured and you keep seeing every day. Then you say, this is it. Then you plunk into it. So vision gives you force. So no self-leadership without what? Vision. Without vision. Without vision. Without vision. Another thing, another component to look at in self-leadership. Okay, another force, to look at in self-leadership is what I call the force of discipline. Everybody say discipline. The force of what? Now that you've already coined a vision, you've envisioned where you want to see yourself in the nearest future, and every day, every activity, every task, every book you read, every friends you make, every movie you watch are things similar, relevant to that big picture ahead that you are looking towards actualizing. The force of discipline have to come in to keep you in check. Without force of discipline, you will derail. Hello? Without force of discipline, there is tendency for you to quit. Without force of discipline, there is tendency for you one day to just wake up and begin to downplay all the activities that are supposed to take you closer to that actualization of the vision, because you felt they are too strenuous. You felt the sacrifice is too steep. You felt, oh, I need my rest. Oh, I want to sleep a little. No. When force of discipline is in place, you know that I have something ahead I want to achieve. These activities, even though they look so difficult, they look so uncomfortable, but because I have this understanding that they are meant to catapult me from here where I am to that painted great and big future ahead of me, then let me give it all that it takes. And that is what? Discipline. Discipline. When discipline is in place, you disdain pleasure. When the force of discipline is in place, there is no price that is too high for you to pay in order to actualize your vision. The force of discipline. The force of discipline. Very, very important. Force of discipline. Number 3 force, when it comes to self-leadership, number 3 is the force of diligence. Everybody say diligence. Force of what? Diligence. 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 Some people give another word for diligence. They say technical know-how. You just know what to do. Knowing what to do at all times and doing it. That's some people define wisdom. And some people interchangeably use wisdom and diligence, even though there is a thin line of difference between two. But every wise man is always a diligent what? Person. Force of diligence. See, even though we preach that there is nothing too great for you to achieve, as far as you can see, you can achieve it, you can see it, you can attain it. But the truth is that in the process of attaining it, there are certain things you need to know, and there are certain things you need to do. That's where diligence comes in. You will not say you want to be a renowned world-class broadcaster that the world have ever known, and 80% of your friends are musicians. Hello? You won't say your life ambition or goal is to build the greatest and most efficient financial institution in the world, and those you are hanging around with, has nothing to do with banking and finance or any financial related service. Force of diligence will keep putting you in check, on track, making you to go for knowledge, to associate with people, attend conferences, buy and read certain books that gives you more understanding and knowledge about that which you want to achieve. That's why we keep saying that leaders are what? Readers. Why do you think leaders read? Because they cannot afford not to be diligent. Great leaders are diligent what? Individuals. They are studious individuals. There is no diligence without accumulation of information and knowledge. And you will not accumulate information and knowledge without reading. That's why sometimes I feel sad. When we call for reading club, I only see 5. You see 6. You see 3. People have swept under the carpet the importance of reading, and yet they want to be a world-acclaimed, renowned leader. How will it work? How? The force of diligence. The force of diligence. How many forces have you mentioned? Ingredients to self-leadership, or forces to self-leadership. We mentioned how many now? 3. The first one we mentioned is what? The force of what? Vision. The force of vision. The same way you want to lead a group of people and you come in and tell them that this is what we want to achieve. This is where we are going. This is how we are going to get there. This is how we are going to get there. Then it's also important that in self-leadership that you are able to also set similar vision for yourself. So after that we went in to talk about the force of what? Discipline. It's not good enough that you've already carved a vision for your life on the platform of self-leadership so that you'll be on course. In order to stay on course, to do the needful, the key force that is needed that will keep you in check is what? The force of what? Discipline. And just now we concluded by saying the force of what? Diligence have to come in. Where you get to associate yourself with the right people, read right material, attend seminars, acquire enough information and knowledge about that vision so that you'll be able to know what to do, and you do exactly what you ought to do to be able to take you to your final destination. Are we together? Okay. So now let me quickly chip in 2 more before I will give you 4 dimensions of leadership, and that's where I will stop, and the second speaker is going to take the stage. Okay. Let's add this to force of vision. We've mentioned force of discipline. We've mentioned the force of diligence. So please add this: companionship. Every time I teach, even if the subject of what I'm teaching has little to do with companionship, I talk around it because I've seen how great this force is. The force of companionship. See, you are as good as people you associate with. You are as good as the people that you associate with. I can tell you that. In fact, it's better to be alone than to be in a company of what? Fools. Being in a company of fools is a way to become one. Being in a company of fools is a way to become what? One. I'll give you an example. Naturally, you are not a gossiper. I bet you if you stay around and you make gossiper your friends, it's not your thing. Naturally, you will begin to what? To gossip. True. Not, you do not intended to. That is how fearful and how strong companionship is. So, as a great leader, having this understanding of companionship, what are you supposed to do? You will now become intentional in selection of people you want to associate with. If I want to be a great, renowned motivational speaker, I begin to choose friends who are in the speaking engagement, who are in the speaking world. I begin to make as my friend and mentor or role model people that I've known in that field. Before you know it, there will be a rub-on impact, rub-on effect. You see, the truth is that because anytime around them, the thing they will be talking about is the last speaking engagement they went to. Oh, there was this new book I read about. Oh, do you know when you're on the stage, you don't? Because that is what they do. So these are the kind of things they will be sharing around you, and you that doesn't even have any knowledge about it before, you begin to acquire those information. It's cheaper. It's one of the cheapest way to learn companionship. Some of you struggle to read books, but makes friends with people that does. Some of you struggle to read certain materials in line with area that you are going. Find people who are already there, associate with them. What they have read in their own book that they've been practicing, they will start saying it around you, and the thing will start entering you. Maybe you are very lazy to read. That does not excuse you from reading. I'm just saying that it's as strong as that. The power of companionship. The power of companionship. I've come to observe something about companionship. I saw this recently. Do you even know that if you are not good at something, but you love to do that thing, and you have friends around you who are professional experts in that thing, anytime people see you together, they will begin to look at you like what? Yes, like you are part of those experts. It's as big as that. Companionship. As small as I am now, if I'm in the company of Osibajo and we went for an outing and they saw Osibajo holding me by the shoulder, do you know that the governor of that state will even clear seat for me, say, oh, sit here? Because he felt that for me to have been with Osibajo and we are holding hands and he's patting me on the back, don't let me overlook this. I don't know who this guy is. He must surely be a great person for him to be having this kind of interaction and companionship with our vice president. I tell you, it's the cheapest way to ride. Makes friends with people going your direction. You want to be an actor? Makes friends with true actors and actresses. You want to be a musician? Makes friends with people who are in that field. You want to be a great engineer, a great programmer? You want to be whatever you want to be. There are people who are doing well in that field. Stop all this friendship of by chance. Because I came to serve in Sokoto, and me and you are in the same platoon, so you are now my friend. Whether you know book, you know no book, whether you are sound, you are not sound, that's friendship by chance. We should stop it. That's the commonest way people make friends. Sure, you know, you went to the same school with somebody, automatically has become your friend. You stay in one neighborhood, so your neighbors has become your friend. When are you going to be intentional? You sit down and say, okay, I want to select 5 top-notch friends, and you are deliberate. In fact, some of them, maybe life will never have brought you together, but deliberately you walk up to them. I am so and so. I envision to be this and I discover you have been in that field. I would like to be your friends. How many of you have done that? We need to start doing that. You say you want to be a good graphic designer. Who are your friends? Are they graphic designers who are experts, who are better than you? Because they will be sharing with you the latest thing in the field. You say, have you seen the new plugin? Have you seen this one? Have you seen that one? Have you seen the new? Companionship, very powerful. So let me quickly enter the 4th dimension of leadership. 4th dimension what? Of a leadership. Of leadership. Now, is a bit some of you unique. I mean, I use strange to some of you, but let me do that. We have the ego dimension. We have the serpent dimension. I know some of you this is strange. I understand, but I'll explain to you. I take my reference from a particular place. So we have the lion dimension and we have the dove dimension, or you can call it face. Okay, face of what? Leadership. And I want to encourage you, please listen to me carefully. This is where I'm going to round up my own section for today. So we are waiting for Ima Onoja that is taking the second segment. Now listen carefully. Whatsoever kind of leader that you will become, you will interact with these 4 phases of leadership, and you need to know when to unveil either or any of these phases. This is what I mean. The eagle, as an animal that we know, is the strongest of all birds. It's been said that eagle can fly high, okay, at some strange altitude that no other birds dare what? Try. They don't. They can't. And guess what? The eagle is not just strong. It's been said that when the eagle is at a very great height above sea level, he has a keen eyesight that he can even see a small animal on the ground. So what is this telling us? This phase of leadership. As a leader, the eagle phase of the leadership is opening you up to that. Number 1, you must be strong. Number 2, you must have a keen sight. That's vision. Are we together? Another thing about the eagle as a bird is that eagle does not feed on dead animals or rotten animals like vulture. You know vulture? There are 2 different things, isn't it? Eagle kill its prey fresh and consume it. As a leader, you don't feed on old junks. You must always be out every day for the new. Are we together? I'm talking about the eagle dimension of leadership. Number 1 thing I've said there is that as a leader, the eagle dimension is telling you that you have to be what? Strong. Number 2, keen sight. That's vision. Number 3 is what? Fresh what? Fresh knowledge. The eagle does not feed on carcass, on rotten animals. No, fresh. He likes it fresh. As a leader, you must be the guy that is always ever correct. You must be a knowledge seeker, a knowledgeable individual for you to excel well at your leadership skill. So this is a phase of a leader. So when situation comes that demands that the eagle face, you turn the eagle face. You approach matters with a lot of vigor, strength. You are not a coward person that cannot approach and address issue. Number 2, you are a leader that is guided by a vision. So there is less of distraction because you are focused. You have a vision. Number 3, you are always updated. Always what? Updated. Okay, let's look at the second phase of leadership, which is the phase of the what? The serpent. One of the things about the serpent is it's been said to be a very wise what? A very wise what? Animal. Very wise animal. Serpent. Very wise. Very wise. So this is appealing that every leader must be wisdom endowed. You have to do everything it takes. You must at all times display high level of what? Wisdom. And it's not difficult to get wisdom. It's not. Number 1, any of you lack wisdom, let him what? Let him ask. You ask God first. You pray. Number 2, you read books. Because it's been said that wisdom is knowing what to do. So how do you know what to do? By acquiring what? Knowledge. And doing it. Knowing what to do and what? Doing it is wisdom. It's not difficult. Be hungry for knowledge. Read books. Attend seminars. Watch webinars on. And then when you learn, don't just share them. Practice them. You see yourself getting wise by each day. Let not one day go without you learning something what? New. Please. Also, it's been said of the serpent that it's what? Is a very what? Who can tell me 1 or 2 things about serpent? Another future. Let me see if you are anybody. It has something called venom, right? And that makes it what? To be dangerous. Somebody will not say, does it not mean leaders must be dangerous? It depends on the perspective you are looking at it. Just like somebody put water in a bottle halfway, and they have somebody what they say, the glass is half empty, and they show another person and say the glass is what? Half full. It's perspective. Both of them are correct, Abi. Just that they look at it from different what? Perspective, different angle. Okay. Now when you talk about being ruthless, being dangerous, leaders have to be ruthless, but from the other perspective. Not ruthless in doing what? Evil. Are you with me? But ruthless, stamping their feet on ground for that which is what? Good and just. They cannot easily be condoled, persuaded, bought over to do evil or to do something that is out of the scope of their vision or the assignment that is in their hand. So there are times leaders have to be ruthless. They have to be ruthless, but not in evil way. Ruthless, standing for the truth. Ruthless, fighting unjust. Ruthless, fighting injustice. Do we get that? Good. Then the third phase or dimension is the lion dimension. We know lion is said to be the strongest of all beasts, isn't it? Isn't it? Now there is something about lion that some of you do not know. Lion actually is a secret. Actually, he's not the strongest. But do you know why? Up to now, everybody believes that the lion is the what? The strongest. The guy is majestic. He has this aura around him that makes every other animal to fear him. I'll give you an example. Let's look at elephants, for instance. You know elephant? You know elephant can be very big. So just think about it. If elephant just uses, is it tusk? Or what do you use it? You can use it to pick and fling what? The lion. Isn't it? So in literal term, we could say the elephant is stronger than what? The lion. But yet the lion has been acclaimed to be the king of the what? The jungle. Because elephant has a potential that he doesn't know how to use it well. But lion has its know-how that I'm strong, and he poses to the whole world to know that he's strong, and he acts what? Strong, and he becomes the nightmare of every beast in the forest. It's the strongest because he decided to the fullest to utilize all that God has endowed him what? With. He displayed everything. Like Mike Zmuro normally talked about dying empty. That's what I say about lion. He reserves nothing. Everything he has is what he put out. Elephant has so many potentials, but we'll just be jeje. We're going jeje in the forest. Doesn't want anybody problem. Just make her eat, make her go, and but lion, you see him coming like this. Wow, we'll shake tail. Everybody say, a guy is coming. Now, don't get it wrong. I'm not asking you to be a leader that, remember we're talking about self-leadership anyway, that would want the whole world to know, yes, I'm the leader. No, it depends on the perspective you're looking at it. So follow me carefully, just like the case of the half cup, okay, half filled cup. If somebody will say it's half full, another person say what? Half empty. Now, what this appealing to is that if you will be a great leader, you must learn to maximize your potential. If your leadership will be a world acclaimed one that the impact will be felt across the globe, you don't need to reserve any of those potential. It's given for you to give your word. So in any capacity, give your best. So that some of us, especially when you are in an activity that is not yours, purely yours, maybe it's not a program you organize by yourself or something, you just do little and just like, I know, and there's this popular saying, I know go kill myself. How do they say it? I can't kill myself, Abi. I can't kill myself. Oh no. And it's one of the virtue of strength. Lion is a very strong animal. Very, very strong animal. That's the face of leadership. And let me tell you something. Another thing about this is that as a leader, you have to be bold. You have to be what? Courageous. You have to be, you have to, no, that is why they say lion is the strongest. He fears no other animal. Go and watch Nigeria very well. I've seen elephant kill lion on Nigeria, but still they don't fear any animal. They don't fear. And when lion want to kill elephant, what they do is that they come in hard. They come, so they flank the elephant from different angles. But if it is one-on-one, they don't. As one jump on the elephant from this side, another one will tear him from the other side. Another one will join from the neck region, and so like that. It's a coordinated attack. So when you're talking about the lion face of leadership, a leader has to be a very strong, courageous person. So situation will come in the course of your leadership that will demand you to be bold, to be what? To be strong, to be courageous, and to respond to life situations. So don't cower. Don't be a coward. Don't shrink in. It's a face of leadership. And the final one, talking about courage, okay, strength, okay, and the final phase of leadership is that of what? The dove. It's been said that dove is being referenced as a very gentle what? Bird. But there's a popular word that we normally say as gentle as what? As dove. As gentle as dove. So as a leader, it's not all time that you have to display the lion face. There are times that the situation demands that the face that you turn out is the dove face. In order, I don't understand what I'm saying. These four faces is like this: eagle, serpent, lion, dove. So this is a life situation, okay? So a time will come that you turn just the serpent face to a life issue, to scenario, or people you are leading. There is a situation. That face, the face that situation warrant is the serpent what? Face, meaning that you display high level of what? Wisdom. High level of what? Wisdom. And in this case, no, like what happened in Nigeria, NSAS. This was the face. These two faces is what the federal government was supposed to turn. This face of leadership. They're supposed to turn the serpent face that talks of what? Wisdom, and turn the dove face. I talk of what? Gentility, humility. They're supposed to get wisdom. I say, what? These youth are really angry. Are you with me? Let's pacify what? Them. Let's be gentle with them. Let's provide job what? Opportunity for them. But rather, this is what our God turned to us. The lion. How do I know? They sent soldiers. How do I know? They started freezing account of people who are part of NSAS protest. How do I know? People who are hungry went to collect palliative. You are not going from door to door. Once they see palliative inside your house, they will arrest you. That's the lion face. No lion, nana, gra, gra, gra. You want to show strength, is power. Yes, there are times the leader needs to do that, but you must discern the situation to know what phase, what dimension that situation requires. This is what they should have shown us. Wisdom and what? Handle the situation with what? With care, with gentility. Now they are placing travel ban on some people who are part of NSAS protest. You see that? So this applies to every one of us. When issues crop up and requires your leadership, when there are chaos in any organization or any group you are overseeing as a leader, when there are issues within individual, between you and the group, or within the group and other group, you need to check and analyze the situation and ask yourself, what phase of leadership does this situation what demands? And truth must be told. Truly, there are times that it desire the lion what? Yes, dimension. That sometimes demands it. Yes. There are times it is. You have to just come out strong and stamp your feet on the ground and say, this is it. I'm not in. But you must have done a thorough what? Check, analysis, and be sure this is the dimension that such situation what require. And there will be other situation that it require that of the serpent, wisdom. Sometimes it require you playing the fool. That's the part of the dove, gentility. You are not a fool, but you've analyzed and saw that let me play what? The fool. And there will be some other time it will demand the part of what? The dimension of what? The ego. The dimension of the ego. Where you say this situation can only be solved through having what? Certain policies and procedure what? In place. You've seen ahead, vision, and say to forestall this kind of occurrence. This is what we should do. This is what we should. These are the policies. These are the guidelines. Vision. So the dimension of the eagle, the serpent, the lion, and the dove. Lion and the dove. So, in conclusion, self-leadership is very key. Without proper self-leadership, there can be a better public leadership. If you cannot lead yourself well, you cannot lead others well. If you have not coined a vision for your personal life, when you are made a leader of your state, your country, your group, your community, your fellowship, you cannot caption a vision for them because you are not used to doing it. Are we together? And let me tell you, if you must be great in life, you need to rise up. I know you need leadership. I'll give you an example. As a young man, as you are growing up, as a young man, you are growing up and you've envisioned a whole lot of things and you started leading yourself well, you encounter a whole lot of challenge, problem. If you have not learned the ropes of self-leadership, those challenges, those problems, those temptations can take you down. They can. I'll give you an example. When we were doing the class, we mentioned like 4 forces. Force of vision, force of what? Discipline, force of what? Diligence. We talked about companionship, and the last one I was supposed to have there is related to companionship, or it's more like networking, building your network. But I don't want to talk about that because it's a bit into companionship, so I just talk around it. Now, there's an example of a man called Samson. Samson is very stronger. Samson is known to be a guy that everybody fears. So he was always displaying the lion, face of leadership. And he was supposed to be the judge of a group of people called Israel. Right. So this guy failed at the level of leadership, and eventually he failed at the level of public leadership. How do I know? That force of discipline was absent for him at the level of leadership. Everything his parents warned him against is what he wants to do. They warned him against a particular woman called Delilah. I'm talking about an historical narration, in the Bible. And eventually, that indiscipline was what put an end to his life. So he couldn't do what he was supposed to do at the level of public leadership because he has failed at the level of leadership. So it affected his place at the public level. My prayer for every one of us is that God is going to embrace us and give us this to lead ourselves right so that we can lead others well in Jesus' name. And we have potentials, mothers, fathers here. So if at this level now you've not started leading yourself well, self-leadership, how will you be able to even lead when you become a father, lead your family? How are you able to lead your children as a mother who is a pillar in the home as regards child rearing or children rearing? So at this point, I'm going to open the floor for questions And if at the end of our questions and answer our second speaker comes in, fine. If he doesn't, this is where we're going to close the curtain for today's program. Is that okay? So, but instead of closing the program so abruptly, I'll now give platform for some of us to add. No, we'll be talking about leadership. So maybe you two have some few things you want to add. Floor will now be open. So let's first take the question and answer first. Then we'll now leave the room for comments. Do you get? So make your comment, make contribution, add whatever you want to have, and then we're going to close for the day. Thank you very much. So any question first? Let's start with a question. From any of the days, maybe the first week, the second week, the third week, or from today's teaching, question, please. Okay. In the absence of question, let's go into the comment addition section. So you have something to say. Maybe there are some aspects. No, leadership is very vast, isn't it? So whatever we have discussed is just some area we've decided to talk on. So maybe there are other things you feel we should also, talk around to encourage everybody to be a good leader. The floor is open now for us to make our contribution. Just put up your hands. Yeah.
Praise God. Sorry. Alright, there's an aspect of leadership actually that I saw under the serpent, which is the leader should be unpredictable. I don't know, sorry for coming late. I don't know if we've actually talked about it before now. That a leader should be unpredictable. Okay, actually, in that aspect, we could say a leader should be somebody that they expect you to make certain decisions and they already think that you're already coming to a conclusion as regarding the mark. You show them others are not able to. For example, I was a leader somewhere, particular virtually, then I was supposed to issue a punishment. So I asked for the came actually. Why did they were surprised? They were expecting them, and you know what you did is actually. So please just go and don't do it. So a leader should be unpredictable to an extent that they don't know you and they are not able to predict the decision.
For me, one of the characteristics is brave. Being a leader doesn't warrant you. Being brave is one of the core. Is brave to take decisions. As he said, being unbrave. You be also being brave.
Good afternoon, everyone. I really want to appreciate everyone who has participated in this class, and I want to appreciate the Seed of Abraham Technology for putting together a class like this to host us and to enlighten us on what we need to do, which is self-leadership. I think people have been emphasizing so much on leadership in different spheres and things like that. But the first person you actually need to lead is yourself. If you cannot lead yourself successfully, you cannot lead the family. So if you are able to lead yourself, you will be able to lead every other body. So the question is, are you leading yourself right? That's one of the questions I asked myself. Did they put me over a post? Have I led myself right? To some extent, I noticed some flaws in me, and what I do is I go back and say I can build on myself, because I can't build somebody where I haven't built myself. Just like the good book says, it says, why are you looking at the mote in your brother's eye, whereby you have the beam in your own eye? So have you led yourself successfully? That's the question I think I want to add. So are you a leader in a church, in a mosque, in whatever sphere you are given the capacity to lead? Well, ask yourself what you are informing the other person about. Are you abruptly informed about you? Are you working in that capacity to improve yourself and be the better version of it? And also on the dimensions Mr. Abraham mentioned, from the eagle to the serpent hide to the lion to the dove, there are more to them, and I would love us to go back and exploit them to see how we can put them to use in our various aspects of life. I think I would love to dwell on maybe the lion too. Actually, as much as important as it is to be brave, I would like to say there are times that you will fear too. But as a leader, you don't have to show your weakness. You can't show your weakness, because showing your weakness might actually cost you. Although you might fear, but you don't have to show it. You have to be courageous. You have to be courageous. I actually, I can't remember where I heard it from, but there was a family man, something happened in the family. But I think maybe thieves came around, but they were knocking the door. The man he said he was the most scared person that day. But he had to just stand up and say, I have to go. Not because of anything, but he has to show the courage. He has to show the courage. So be courageous, be diligent, and move on. And again, I would love to open us to another dimension, which leadership does, which is opening us to another animal, which is the ant. I think the Bible said, go to the ant, and you will not. So I will tell us today, as prospective leaders, let us go to the ant and study them. One of the first things I notice about the ant is never selfish. As a leader, you can't afford to be selfish. That's why you see them in unity. So they are never selfish. One thing I noticed, one day I was practicing something. I killed a cricket. I left it at the middle of the room. It's only one ant I saw. I only left the ant to find out where the cricket is. And trust me, within 5 minutes, I don't know where they came from. They were there in battalions, and the one knows he can't lift that one. So he beckoned to other hands to do what? To help it. So as a leader, you are weak in this area of that. How can you beckon to others to help you? The ant is not one, is not selfish. Two, the ant carries every other body along. It carries every other body along. It doesn't say, okay, you want to eat everything, you want to get it. You can't get everything. Carry every other body along. How can I carry Christy along? How can I carry Chidima along? I cannot carry Mr. Banjo along. I cannot carry Mr. Abraham along and see where every other body can fit into my system. Thank you very much.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. No one is born with the skill of being a leader. The skill of being a leader is something you acquire, it's something you learn, develop yourself to become. And as a leader, there are certain things that you should not ignore. Listening. You have to have this listening skill to listen to your team. This is what they are communicating. This is what they are saying. You just have the ability to listen. Even if they are saying nonsense, what they are saying is not making sense. You just have that skill, that ability to be quiet and listen to them attentively. And also, as a leader, being a leader, don't try to abuse that position or that power. I've come across many people, because they are leaders, they try to abuse that power, they try to abuse that position, being a leader. They just want to override everybody or just feel everybody should come under them. So as a leader, we shouldn't try to abuse the power of it. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. One of the major problems of our nation today is visionary leaders. We lack visionary leaders. So one of the aspects that really touches my heart here is the vision. That is the ego. I discovered that as a leader, you have to have a vision, because a leader that has no vision can easily be distracted. You understand? That is why the Bible even said, where there is no vision, because of no vision. Then vision regulates a man. That is why as a leader, to be able to face problem, be able to see like problem 5 years is vision. So vision. Thank you.